Hey coding legends, welcome to day 6 of our 30-day JavaScript challenge, where we tackle coding problems one step at a time. Today we are going to merge two sorted arrays, but there is a twist. We have to do it in a place without using extra space. Sounds fun? Right. Stick around because by the end of this you will understand a new way to manipulate arrays, which is very super useful for coding interviews and real world tasks. Let's dive right in. What is the problem? We are given two sorted arrays, nums1 and nums2, and the goal is to merge them into one sorted array. The result should be sorted in the first array, which is nums1. So we are not going to create any new arrays. That is not allowed. But wait, there is another catch as well. Nums1 already has some numbers at the start, followed by extra zeros at the end, placeholders for the merge. And nums2 has numbers we need to merge into nums1. We will merge from the back of both arrays, starting with the largest numbers. This way, we don't overwrite any important data while merging. Does it sound confusing? Don't worry, I will walk you through it step by step. Okay, let's see our step-by-step plan before we start coding. We will create three pointers, okay? The first pointer, which we'll call it I, will point to the last element of the real part of the first array nums1. If you remember, the example here we have, you have the nums1, which is array of numbers, and these are your real numbers. And these in the end, which are zeros, they are just a placeholders. Okay, so we will create that pointer I, which is the first one, to point to the real part, to the last real part of our array nums1. And this example for us will point on the number 3. The second pointer should be j. That will point to the last element of our second array, which is nums2. And you can see, for example, that's an example here. So pointer j will point for us in this scenario on number 6. The third pointer, which is k, that will point to the last position in our first array, which is nums1, where the next largest element should go. This will be at the position of m plus n minus 1. Okay, so if this sounds confusing, K basically will point for us in the last element of our nums1. Okay, we will start filling actually our array from the backwards, so we start filling from the biggest number and keep going down. Now, how we know the length of this array? If you read the details here, you will see that the nums1 have length of m plus 1. Okay, and that's from where it came. This case here where we said the pointer k will start at the position of m plus 1 minus 1. So after creating these pointers, we will be looping through these arrays, okay, and we will compare elements from the end of both arrays, and then we'll be placing the larger element at the end of our nums1 array and keep moving that k pointer back for that array and again keep filling. So we'll keep continuing this process until all elements from the nums2 have been placed in nums1. There is an edge case for this. So if any elements from nums2 are left, means you had the nums2 with a larger elements, then we have to run through that second array and fill whatever remaining elements back in our nums1. Okay, now let's start actually coding. So I defined here a function that accepts 4 parameters. The first parameter is your nums1 array, which is an array of numbers. Then the second parameter is a number, which we call it m. That will define how many actual real numbers are we having in nums1. Then the third argument is an array, which is your second array of numbers. And then the fourth argument is the number of the element in your second array. Now, as we said, we need to create three pointers. The first one will be the last real element in nums1. Okay, so I'll create a pointer and I'll define it with let because um, we'll be changing this the value of this pointer as we are looping or we are going through our arrays. So it will be changing through the process. So we'll not use const, we'll use let. I'll call it I, and that will be equal to our actual length of real element within our first array, which is m, then -1 to get the last index. Then the next pointer will be your last element in nums2, which is your second array. So I'll call it j, and that will be equal to n minus 1. And then we have our third pointer, which will be the one using to fill our nums1, and we'll be pointing in the beginning to the last element in our nums1 array. Okay, so just fix this, and that will be equal to m plus 1 minus 1, because our actual array length of nums1, it will be with real values plus zeros that will be filling, and that will be length of m plus 1, and we have to use -1 to get the actual last index. Now we created our pointer. What you have to do next is compare and place elements starting from the end. As you remember, in our requirement, they ask to merge the both arrays in no decreasing order, means to be in ascending order. Therefore, we know that the last element of our array should be the biggest elements in the both arrays. So the way we can do that, we create our pointers, they already point to the last elements. Now we'll use the while loop, and we'll say while I is equal or greater than 0 and j is equal or greater than 0, then do the following. Okay, now if our nums1, so our first array with a pointer I, is greater than our second array with a pointer j, then we know this element should be the one taken, okay, because we'll be fitting from the biggest to the smallest. So what we will do is say then therefore nums1 with a pointer of k, because that will be moving and filling, it will be equal to nums1 with a pointer of I. Okay, and therefore we took the pointer I, we use this pointer I, we fill that element in our last element in the first array. Then we have to move this pointer backward. And here I did a mistake, this should be nums1. Okay, so we have to move this pointer backward for next check. So e minus minus. Now, if this statement is not valid, therefore our element from our second array, which is bigger than our element in first array, then we will be taking that number and placing it in this pointer within our first array. So our nums1 at k will be equal now to nums2 at j. And because we use the j pointer this time, so that's the one we have to increase it. So we'll increase our pointer with 1 backward. So when these are done, means our nums1k, the pointer k, has been filled with a value. Therefore, we will go and move our pointer backward as well. So key minus minus. Now, this one will loop through our both arrays and fill with the pointers. Now we have to handle the scenario, the S scenario, if any elements are left in our nums2. So hand edge scenario, if any elements are left in nums2. So how we can do that? So we'll use again the while loop, and we'll say while the j pointer is equal or superior than 0, Then do the following. That's mean you still have elements, right? So we say the nums1 at pointer k, oops, at pointer k will be equal to nums2 at pointer j, and of course we use the pointer j, so we have to do j minus minus, and also use the pointer k, so we have to do k minus minus. Okay, so this will make sure it's handling any left values in the second array. Now let's return the nums1 and let's run this. And there we go, that's our output. We can compare to the examples we had above. So this is the expected output for the first example, and you can see it is the same. This is the second example output, which is correct, and this is the last example output, and that is what we are expecting. And there you have it, another problem solved. By practicing these challenges every day, you are building strong problem solving muscles that will come in handy in your coding career. So keep going, and I will see you in the next video.